think
General
officers that were
George
there.
destroyed a culture?
There are many, we've gotten rid of many general officers in this administration because we need new leadership.
Sir. You have no way of explaining why you fired one of the most decorated and remarkable.
This is the moment a congressman stopped letting the Pentagon spin its way out of accountability. The question was simple. The answer revealed everything. Before we break this down, hit like and subscribe, because this channel doesn't let evasive officials off the hook. The hero here is the congressman, pressing the Pentagon official on two fronts, the cost of war and the firing of a decorated general. And what we get in return is a masterclass in dodging, deflection, and outright disrespect.
Do you know how much it will cost Americans in terms of their increased cost in gas and food?
Classic deflection. Asked a direct question about how much the Iran war will cost American families at the pump and the grocery store, and the target immediately pivots to the cost of an Iranian nuclear bomb. This is not an answer. This is a rhetorical escape hatch. The question was about domestic economic impact, not a national security hypothetical. And the target knows it. But instead of admitting he has no idea what the price tag is for the American people, he tries to reframe the entire premise. Let's see how the congressman handles that.
Over the next year because of the Iran war?
I would simply ask you what the cost is of an Iranian nuclear bomb.
I'm going to give you that opportunity.
I would simply ask you what you're playing gotcha.
No, exactly no. When the target calls the question gotcha, he's admitting he has no good answer. The congressman doesn't let up. He repeats the question, forces the target to confront the fact that he won't answer. This is the core of the exchange. A clear, fair question met with a transparent dodge. The target had no analysis done, no estimate, nothing, but he's happy to spend the money. This is not oversight. This is a blank check. And the congressman is holding up a mirror.
Questions about domestic things. I'm not.
You're saying it's a gotcha question to ask what it's going to be in terms of the increased cost of gas.
Why won't you answer what it costs to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb?
I give you that, sir. But let me.
What would it cost? What would you pay to?
And here comes the most shocking part. The target tries to reclaim his time. He had the floor. He was asked a question, and he wants to reclaim his time because he doesn't like the question. This is not how oversight works. You don't get to reclaim your time when you're the one who should be answering. The congressman immediately calls him on it. Do you not know you had no one do the analysis? And then when cornered, the target finally throws out a number. $631 billion. Where did that number come from? How does it compare to the cost of gas and food? He doesn't say. He just throws it out.
To ensure Iran doesn't get a nuclear bomb. What would you pay?
I reclaim my time. Do you not know? You had no one do the analysis of what the increased cost of gas and food on the American people are going to be?
What is the cost of Iran holding that straight at issue with nuclear weapons?
It's six.
Exactly as you just heard. The target finally gives a number, but it's a number that doesn't answer the question. The question was about the cost to Americans in gas and food. The answer was the cost of preventing an Iranian nuclear bomb. This is a non sequitur dressed up as a statistic. And the congressman doesn't buy it for a second. But then the target pivots to an entirely different scandal. A decorated general, a patriot, someone respected by everyone in the room, fired. Why, the target won't say. And the way he handled it, a text or a phone call. Not even to his face.
$631 billion.
General George, let's talk about a guy who's a patriot. Somebody who every single person here in this dais and down there in that audience and out there in this world has.
The target tries to hide behind protocol. Out of respect for these officers, we never talk about the nature of their removal. This is a convenient policy that only seems to apply when the questions get tough. If a general is fired for cause, the public has a right to know. If a general is fired for political reasons, the public has a right to know that too. Instead, we get a vague reference to the wrong perspectives and a need for new leadership. But the congressman has the receipts. This isn't a policy disagreement. This is a purge. And the target can't explain why one of the most decorated men in the nation was shown the door without a proper explanation.
Huge admiration for. Why did he get fired?
Well, as with any moves we make with general officers, first of all, I thank them for their service. And ultimately,
my impression is you thanked him by a text.
The target's answer is an insult. We needed new leadership. That's the best he can do for a man who every single person in the room has huge admiration for. If a mid-level manager at a private company fired someone this way, they'd face a lawsuit and a destroyed reputation. For the Pentagon, it's just Tuesday. The congressman calls it exactly what it is, a very immature way of responding to a request. But let's zoom out. This isn't just about one general. This is about a pattern. An administration that fires anyone who doesn't fall in line, that refuses to answer basic questions about the cost of its wars, and that hides behind process when it doesn't want to be held accountable.
Text or a phone call. You didn't even do it to his face.
Out of respect for these officers, we never talk about the nature of their removal, but every one of them, including myself, knows that they serve at the
Why
pleasure
did
of...
So what's the real impact of this? It's not just about one hearing. It's about a system that allows officials to dodge, deflect, and dissemble without consequence. The target here is a senior official in an administration that has made accountability a buzzword. But when it comes to their own actions, there's always an excuse. The cost of the Iran war? A gotcha question. The firing of a beloved general? A personnel matter. The congressman exposes the double standard. If a soldier failed to account for the cost of a mission, they'd face a court-martial. If a general was fired without cause, there would be an investigation. But for the political appointees at the top, there's always a way out.
the
Fire
president.
him.
Ultimately, out of respect to these officers, we don't reveal it. However, I will note, it's very difficult to change the culture of a department that was been destroyed by the wrong perspectives.
So
with the
you
same-
The target's underlying credibility is the real issue here. This is not a person who has spent a career in the trenches of military logistics or economic analysis. This is a political operative who has been placed in a position of immense power, and the lack of preparation shows. He cannot answer a basic question about the economic impact of a war he is helping to escalate. He cannot explain the firing of a decorated officer. He falls back on talking points and procedural dodges. This is not competence. This is not leadership. This is a bureaucrat protecting his own position at the expense of transparency and accountability. And the congressman is dismantling him piece by piece.
think
officers
General
that were
George
there.
destroyed a culture?
There are many, we've gotten rid
Yes,
of
it
many
just looks
general
to me
officers
as
in
if
this
you're being-
administration
you
because
have
we
no
need new
answers,
leadership.
Or you have no way of explaining why you fired one of the most decorated and remarkable men who's
We
ever
needed
served
new
this
leadership.
nation.
That's
And
my
so
answer.
your answer is a very immature way of...
A target who dodges the cost of war, who fires a patriot by text message, who hides behind a policy of secrecy, who calls basic oversight gotcha questions, and who offers nothing but vague talking points in place of real answers. A congressman who exposes every single one of these failures, who refuses to accept a non-answer, who forces the target to reveal his own incompetence, and who delivers a closing statement that lands like a hammer. This is what accountability looks like, and it is exactly why this administration fears oversight. We cannot stay silent while our leaders treat the lives and livelihoods of Americans as collateral damage in their political games. The question now is, what happens next? Will the media pick up on this? Will the public hold them accountable? Or will this be another hearing that gets buried in the news cycle? A target who dodges the cost of war, who fires a patriot by text message, who hides behind a policy of secrecy, who calls basic oversight gotcha questions, and who offers nothing but vague talking points in place of real answers. A congressman who exposes every single one of these failures, who refuses to accept a non-answer, who forces the target to reveal his own incompetence, and who delivers a closing statement that lands like a hammer. This is not a partisan attack. This is a fundamental demand for accountability from the people who are supposed to be serving us. If a soldier lied about the cost of a mission, they would face a court-martial. If a general was fired without cause, there would be an investigation. If a CEO treated their shareholders this way, they would be removed. But for the political appointees at the top of the Pentagon, there is always a way out. Always a dodge, always a deflection. The pattern is clear. The question is whether we will allow it to continue. The next time you see a headline about a military budget increase or a new conflict, remember this exchange. Remember who refused to answer the questions. And ask yourself, what are they hiding? Hit likes, subscribe, and comment below. Do you think this official should resign?